Hi everybody, welcome back to another technical demo around the Quarkus application. So in this demo, I'm going to showcase how Quarkus Dev Services are working, not only local but also remote with specifically test container capabilities. Alright, let's get into the demo, how it works. Okay, here's my Quarkus application I already created a little bit time ago, and then here's the 3.8.2, the latest version at the moment, and then I use Java 21 version. And then I already added a few extension, Hibernate ORM for CRUD capability implementation, and JDBC PostSQL and Panache for implementation of JPA, and the Reactive Jackson to process JSON format file, input and output stuff. So let me try to just check it out, what kind of container runtime, container image are running right now. There's nothing in there. And then let me try to start Quarkus Dev mode as always. So Quarkus Dev mode automatically stand up Quarkus Dev services as long as you have running container runtime, which is Podman Docker. As you can see, I already edited JDBC PostSQL extension, which allows Quarkus Dev mode to stand up a PostSQL container automatically on your local environment. So Quarkus Dev Services is started for PostSQL. Let me try to grab process here, and the PostSQL 14 container image is running by Quarkus Dev Service. This is totally my local environment. This is the landing page of my sample application, which is a to-do app. And then I try to prepare some of the QCon demo, and then some of the lighting talk, something like that. That's how I put my task work item here. And then I go back to my terminal window and stop my Quarkus Dev mode. When you stop Quarkus Dev mode, it automatically terminates existing running container, which started by dev services. But here's one tricky part. The data source dev services, for example, PostSQL, MongoDB, or MySQL, these are all data sources server. It's not terminated automatically because the dev services try to reuse that database by default, because we expect developer keep learning and developing some JPA implementation or data transaction with the data services. So that's why we keep learning database even if we use stop Quarkus Dev mode, but you can actually delete it or kill it. But in the meantime, the database is still there, but inside the data, like a schema, index, sequence, all deleted. So just restores some data. Okay, so I just needed to kill this running PostSQL to make sure I don't have any running container on my local environment. So nothing in there, just to make sure everything is empty. Okay, and then my local host is gone because no more dev mode is running. Here's one of the interesting part. I gotta ask some of the developer, because they don't have any resources on their local environment, like a laptop, desktop, to run container environment, doesn't matter, Docker, Podman, or sometimes the security policy or networking policy doesn't allow them to install container environment, even if we're running that in container environment. In that case, you're going to still want to use your Quarkus Dev Services. How do you do that? So here's the test container cloud, which is for free for developer, which is really cool. So I'm going to give it a try. So this is when you install a test container desktop for free for developers. And then it allows you to choose the running container environment locally or remote cloud, which is test container cloud. So I'm going to switch it to test container cloud for my container runtime for my dev services. So I'm going to switch it with that. And then here's my test container cloud dashboard. I can actually monitor what kind of container runtime is running, what died based on like a time period. So here's my runtime, my dashboard, and then I can select the cloud or local. And then in the cloud side, I already used Quarkus Dev Service a couple hours ago. As you can see, there are keyclaw and then PostSQL is there. You could actually open the web terminal, which is actually you can report to your local file system, as well as connect to your cloud container environment with some security channel. So that's why Docker process, which is not my local environment, is a remote test container cloud environment. But also I can actually access my local file system at the same time. I'm going to switch my directory and run Quarkus dev again. It automatically start Quarkus dev services, which is running into test container cloud rather than my local. And then I just start Quarkus dev here, and then it start, and then you can see that the PostSQL container is pulling down again. This is one of the quick evidence because my local already pulled down PostSQL, but this is a brand new one. That's why there's no PostSQL image in the cloud. So that's why you are literally starting to pulling down the new container image from Docker Hub. And the Quarkus dev mode is just started. And then go back to my local like 8080 port. Now my application is back to the normal. And then this is my local terminal. I just try to find out the Docker process, which is nothing in there. And then when I go back to the web terminal, which is actually point to cloud environment, now you can see that PostSQL running in here. So with that, you don't need to worry about the resource limits or security network policy from your company to use Quarkus Dev Services with the automatic standard test container. Because Quarkus Dev Services built on test container, which allows developer skip some of the mandatory configuration or maybe dependency or gradual module to enable some of the test container, which is just so convenient for developer. However, you still need to stand up that containers on your local environment, which is you need to require have install, configure, Podman, Docker locally. However, with this kind of some method, you don't need to do that anymore. Just point to test container cloud for free for developer, which is really cool. Let me go back to my Quarkus project and try to add a new extension, for example, OpenID Connect, which allows me to authenticate or authorize my endpoint with some permission. So here's my one less endpoint. You can see that admin endpoint, it returned welcome to test container and OpenShift demo. And then, so I don't need any authorization or authentication to access the endpoint. And now I'm going to try to add the OIDC, OpenID Connect extension and small I OpenAI, which allows me have like a Swagger UI to access that endpoint embedded in Dev UI in Quarkus. And it automatically restart right after I added a new extension. You just saw that key cloud container automatically pulling down into the cloud. And then now you can see that test container for key cloud and PostSQL is already there. And then when I just refresh, it kind of stop, and then the other like a cloud, and you can see that now it's really updated, and the new key cloud is just starting to run. And then let me try to change a little bit my code, like a welcome to test container and Quarkus demo, and then print the authentication stuff here, role allowed annotation with the admin, which means only admin user can access this endpoint from now on. Now when I choose access endpoint again, I gotta support only one error with unauthorized access. So when I go back to Dev UI, just in case you never ever tried Dev UI work with the Keycloud, it automatically connect to Keycloud admin with Quarkus ran by default. And then you can see that two users automatically generate, and Alice has admin and user permission, and then Bob is only has user permission. In that case, I'm going to try to log in with Alice, which is a single application for authentication authorization test, which is really cool. Without that, you need to ask some code, command URL, request and access token, something like that. You need to remember all kind of parameters, something like that. So you don't need to do that anymore. With the Dev UI provided this kind of stuff. And then when you go down, and then you can see, you can actually access admin, and then you got return 200, which is a success return code. But you can also looking forward to real result, and then with the Swagger UI, and then you can just try it on and execute it the endpoint. And now you got to welcome to the test container and Quarkus, which is I just changed the code with some modification. When you start Quarkus Zen mode, and it automatically stop Keycloud, but again, the PostSQL is still running unless you kill the PostSQL manually. So in that case, I just skip it, but actually in the behind the scene, I stop in my Quarkus demo, my local, and then you can see that a keycloud container is died at some point. Thanks for watching. If you have any question, and feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to address your question